Hey guys, it's Kamar here, and today we're going to do some Summoner PvP VOD reviews. I'm just going to go over a couple of clips that I have. First clip, there's no audio because for some reason my shadow play's just been acting up lately. I think it's whenever I switch my mic on and off during a recording session, the whole sound just goes out and it stops recording sound until I fully restart my computer. But anyways, let's hop into the match. So in this match, I'm the middle leg, and I'm starting off against the first person, who's at about 30% HP. It's a destroyer, and I have to be really careful here because even though he's low HP, that usually means they're going to play even more aggro and try to chip your health. And since I'm the middle leg and my first person lost, I really need to get out of this with taking as little damage as possible so that I can go into my 1v1 fresh and try to at least win that for my third leg. So I throw down my mines to put down zoning. His first mistake was that he didn't crowd me at the start. He should have already started crowding me right in my face. That's the melee advantage in arena, is that there, when the time's counting down, when you're immune, you can go and sit on a range's face and you can pressure cooldowns out from them right off the start. They have, as a ranged, you have to use some of your mobility or super armors right at the bat, off the bat, or else you will get hit stun from the start. So he already gave me the space I needed to set up, and it's pretty simple. I just throw down wings, which hit stuns him. Let's see, let's go back. So I have my line of protection right here. He's trying to catch me in his ray. That ray hit stuns and pulls in. But my pets are surrounding him. My plant's going to town on him. I summon my winged spirit, catch him in that, and then detonate. It's that simple. I probably didn't even have to use the detonate. But my pet would have went on cooldown going into the next round anyway, so it's better to get it on the cooldown. So I could get it back up sooner. Okay, so this one, it's a Soul Master, and he immediately starts crowding me. So there's always a little bit of question as to what the best first action is to do when you're going up against someone who's gonna crowd you at the start. He wasn't. If you look at the distance right here, he wasn't crowding me enough for me to use my Earthquake, which gives me super armor and creates some zone control. Because if I started summoning my Earthquake around myself, then he would just stand out here and throw some ranged at me. Since Soul Masters are hybrid, they have both ranged and melee attacks. He would just stand out here and I would just waste a cooldown. So instead, another good action usually is to throw another action some people take is to throw a mine at the start. But with higher ping, it's like I've come to the at least conclusion for myself playing high ping that I can't make that action. I've seen some Koreans do it, but even they sometimes fail to get their mine off and get hit right off the start. So I don't think that's an efficient action, especially on high ping. I think that you either have to use a mobility skill or a super armor right off the start when you're getting crowded. So here I use my dash as he goes in. I rubber band twice. So that's the ping showing itself. And that's another issue, is when you're in a long session, it seems like your VPN routes aren't as optimal anymore, and you start to notice more lag. And this was at the very end of my play session. I had PvE'd all day long. I didn't refresh my routes, so you start to notice a bit more rubber banding, and sometimes it can get so bad to where you're just teleporting all over the place, and things are just really rough. So it's best to PvP on a fresh connection, like when you at least for me, that's the experience I've had, is when you optimize your routes and play right away. But anyway, so I dash, rubber band, dash again, rubber band. So both my get up and my dash are blown right off the start. So that's a really bad start for me. But right here, he's going to dash in, and this is very bad placement for me. Like, I'm thinking that in that moment that he's going to flank behind me, but he doesn't have the cooldowns up to cover that kind of distance. So what I should have been doing is summoning my Earthquake in a circle like this, covering. You still want to cover yourself a bit just in case he can close that distance to this line. I should have put the Earthquake right here, but I start casting it right here instead. So it's a waste of a cooldown, but at the same time, he's using his super armor hit stun attack, so I protect myself from that. So it's not a complete waste. I still get hit at the very tail end of it because my super armor falls off, but it protected me at the beginning. Now I'm in trouble. I'm in real trouble, so I summon my ultimate because my ultimate gives me super armor. So it protects me against this Kamehameha wave, which will hit lock the shit out of you and do a lot of damage. So I summon my ultimate, and I try to play around my mind, which gives me the zoning, and then I get my winged spirit off, which hit stuns him. So I get a lot of burst, and through my ultimate, see right here, where is it? Cooldown's right there. Immediately, as soon as I'm creating that distance and I know he's about to step on my mind, I use my ultimate skill, which does a lot of damage, and it also gives me a lot of class mechanic. It builds a lot of ancient spirit. So I'm able to build up to a Phoenix, which is really, really good. Because Phoenix is really fast and has a lot of range. It's really easy to hit. And you want to go for your more reliable ancient spirit skills when you can, because if you the bad thing about summoner in PvP is that if you get hit stunned, even just a little flinch while you're casting one of your ancient spirit skills, it not only goes on cooldown, but you lose all the ancient spirit that you built up. So there's some really frustrating moments with it. So you need to go with the reliable skills. But anyways, that set me up. That really helped me recover. I have both my pets up. I have my mine up. I just dashed create distance, and he dashes right near my pets. So I have the perfect detonate set up. Now we're going against another summoner. So I already make a mistake. I wasn't sure what I was going up against. I forgot. And sometimes it's kind of vague what you're going up against just by looking at the armors. Some of them are misleading. I probably should have known it was a summoner, but my bad, I forgot. And right here, since I know I'm going up against a summoner, instead of placing my mine in front of myself for frontal protection, like melee zoning, I should have placed my mine near the summoner. You want to place your mines on near the summoner to block their movement and herd them into other skills. It really traps what they can do. So you want to place it in an area to close off where he would move, and then throw your skills in the opposite direction so you can herd him into your mine or let the mine herd him into your skills. So I already make the first mistake right there. I placed it right here when I should have placed it up, and he makes the same mistake, so it's fine. I just go ahead and realize that he's summoning his pets, which are slow animations to cast. So I see the opening to just start summoning winged spirits on him, the ancient spirits. So I get that off. He's got his Faru up on me, and so I'm dashing away while throwing out a horse in case he goes for a detonate. I place a mine for zoning. I go for the earthquake right there because I'm scared of the detonate. I want to get a CC off right away in case he's going to get the detonate, which he might have had the window right here. Let's see. So he's in the mine. No, he doesn't have the window to get the detonate off just yet. So I get the frost off, but he throws his horses. He thought I was going to move up, so he tried to use his knockback. Now he had his ancient spirit built up, and he had the window to use his foot stomp, which I should have dashed, to be honest. So right here, he's walking up, and look, I see a casting animation right there. I should have dashed. It probably, to throw him off, I could have dashed back this way, but to be in all honesty, it's probably best to dash down here because in this game you have more vision on the bottom side. You can see more, so I should have dashed towards vision, but instead I just eat the skill, so I did it bad in both ways. Now he dashes forward, and once he dashes forward and throws his skill, he has nothing to combat my detonate. Like, my pet can just walk up on him, so that was really bad on his part. He should have dashed, and then he should have dashed knowing that I'm going to recover and have my dash up. Instead of going for a cast, he should have went to create space and then reset the battle, make me move into him. He really had the advantage right here. My detonate off, I waste a pushback. I don't know why I pushed back right there. Let's see, I detonated. Okay, so when he was on the ground, I was thinking maybe I could get an extra CC, but he had his recovery skill, which I also should have accounted for. So I'm just throwing out my horses to try to catch him in animation. My foot stomp's now up, and I have the window to cast it. I dash to keep space. I throw my mind on him, which he runs into, and I finish with Winged Spirit. So there was a lot of mistakes in there, a lot of things that could have been done better. There was some lag issues that really hurt me on this one, but ultimately I made few enough mistakes to pull off this 1v3. So now let's move into another fight. This one, there will be some game sounds, so I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. This is from the stream. Okay, so up against a Berserker. I'm going up against a Berserker. This one's just a 1v2, and this is where you get to see how mistakes add up. Mistakes can really add up. Just a few mistakes can add up and keep you from getting off a 1v3. And I really could have pulled off a 1v3 in this one had I played things a bit better, or at least I had the opportunity to do that. And I'll show you where my mistakes are. So he's doing a better job of getting ready to crowd me, but he still gave me a little bit enough space to get the mine up. And just allowing a summoner to get their mine off is already a big start for the summoner. So now he tried to dodge and get the angle in on me, which he does. He was super armored for the mine, it looks like, but I get my dash off in time. So I know he's coming in. I get hit stunned, but I get my dash off. I'm able to cast my Earthquake Super Armor right after. I wait for him to get up and for him to not have any protection so that I can do my knockback and knock him down. And here's the first mistake. My first mistake is that I think that I have the window, since he's slowed and he's about to go into a little bit of an animation freeze, that I have the timing to get my detonate off. But it was a mistake. The pet didn't detonate, so I lose one of my biggest burst sources, and now I have to be in a more prolonged fight with him when I could have got that detonate off and potentially ended the fight a lot sooner. So now I need to create space again. I put my mine down and I dash away just in case he was coming in. Now I'm just trying, I'm entrenched in one of the bad places of the game. And this is something that I need to really improve, is you need to really, if you're playing ranged, you need to really try to kite in a manner that keeps you on the bottom half as much as possible, because on the bottom half you have the best vision. And here I am, I entrenched myself in a place with no vision, which means I need to walk out and step out of my comfort zone, step out of my protective zones in order to even get a little bit of vision, which puts me in danger. So I'm trying to correct this mistake by, now my mind's back up off a cooldown. I'm trying to reset my position to give myself a little bit more vision, which opens me up to his ranged attack, which gave me a little bit of hit stun. Fortunately, the mind was there to stun him. I get hit and I have to use my recovery, and then I get my Earthquake Super Armor off, and I just push back only to create distance, just to give myself a little bit of distance, and then I get my Winged Spirit off. And here's where a big mistake's about to happen. I am going to waste my Ancient Spirit with one of the most unreliable ones to cast. This is the one that you want to cast when you know your opponent's 100% locked in a CC, or if they are locked in a ranged animation in distance that you know isn't going to hit stun you and is going to allow you to get it off on them. Now, what I was thinking in this moment is that he's a Berserker. Even though he's low HP, he's just going to keep up the pressure and try to at least get some damage off on me. He's just going to continue and hopefully get me in a hit stun, because if he can hit stun me, then he, as a Berserker, he can just go crazy. And he could potentially, with the right CC chain and damage chain, he could do enough damage then to hit his ultimate and kill me. Even at that low HP, Berserkers are incredibly dangerous. So I'm thinking that he's just going to keep moving, and so I just throw out my my Salamander in the path that he would have to come, hoping that it would clip him on the way in. But it didn't happen. He was just posting up to get range. So there I just wasted Ancient Spirit that I could have taken into the next round. So that's two big mistakes in this fight. You can hear those little dings. Those are my Korean teammates laughing at me, basically, in chat. Now I just create the space with my mind, auto attack him, force him to come in, and proactively dash so that I can finish off the kill. But potentially I could have been going into this second matchup with like 85-90% HP had I not made the first mistake. The first mistake was the biggest because it prolonged the fight. I could have at least had 2k more HP going into this fight, which makes a lot of difference. Now we're getting a Hawkeye who's blinding me, and it's infuriating, so I just throw my ultimate down to create some sort of space, and here we go. Mistakes are made. This guy's coming in. Why am I throwing out my Earthquake out at a range distance? That is a complete waste of the skill and a very bad decision to make. It is so easy to get out of it while it's channeling up, and he's just going to use his mobility to come in on me. The only value it provides is it gives me a little bit of super armor in that moment, but it's a complete wasted skill. Complete wasted skill usage. Now he's in a good advantageous position, but I push back to correct a little bit, throw my mines down to get my pet out. Now I dash to change position because I'm thinking that he was gonna. I'm thinking right here that he's gonna come in at this angle since I have an open angle for him. I figured that he tracked along this way a little bit, but so it's kind of a waste of a dash to throw my horse and then dash just in case that's where he was, but he wasn't, and then I catch him in Winged Spirit, so that's good. And I think I got my detonate off on him. I had enough time to get my detonate off. So what could we have done right here? After I got the detonate off, and it was either my detonate or I think my ult. Actually, I think I missed the detonate. Let's see. No, that was definitely the detonate. So we got the detonate, but it didn't knock him back. He must have, when he put into that move, it must have give him a little moment of super armor. So right here, we have no dash. We actually have nothing right here. The only thing we can do is actually do something risky and predict that he has Claymore, which is the big explosion. It's kind of like a mine explosion at a radius, like a cone like this. I could have predicted that he was going to do that because it doesn't, from the fight so far, it doesn't seem like he has his spinny attack, which a lot of Hawkeyes have a spinny attack that does a lot of damage and hit stuns, and he hasn't used that yet. So I could have played a little risky and ran back this way, even though that seems to make no sense. I have no cooldowns, I have no dash. I could have ran back this way knowing that he's going to do his Claymore and maybe potentially dodged it. But actually, he did a little bit of a pushback skill, which protected him from that anyway. So I think I just had to eat that no matter what. And he does have the spinny attack. So I right there, as soon as I come up, I use my pushback to create space, which saves me from getting hit by that ultimate. In a little bit of panic, I throw my horse out at a bad angle. So let's see. I want to see something because sometimes I throw horses bad because I'm like, say if you're throwing the animation out, but you're moving your mouse fast to get back to moving, you'll throw your attack at a bad angle because it'll move to where you last moved your mouse. And let's see. We can play this in a little bit of slow motion. No, I threw my horse to where he was, and then he used a movement skill. So, knows that. I'm going to play it slow-mo anyways. So here's another mistake. We know he's a Hawkeye. We know he has good mobility. We know a lot of their mobility is going in, and moving at angles. I cast another Earthquake at range. So here, this is where he is, but that's not where he's going to be. I should have protected myself and casted the Earthquake around that in an angle that also protects behind me a little bit. So if I would have casted it with protection around myself, I would have clipped him at the end of the animation, and I would have got a CC off and been able to create distance and set up again, which would have been big. I wouldn't have eaten another chunk of damage. Now I'm blinded. Now he has the advantage again. Throw my horses off. I miss it because he steps to the side. He's able to get his Claymore off. Now I'm just spamming dash to try to get away. I get rubber banded. I dash in a bad direction. I push back because with the information I had, it looked like he was here still. But I'm blinded, so I'm thinking that he's here about to do a ranged attack on me. So I push back in case he's there. But instead, he had moved. I think he had to use a mobility skill. He had moved up here. So that was a waste. I'm able to see that's an example of that. Look, I go, I think, to set. I think I set. Let's see. Let's look at my mouse. Let's go slower. You see, my mouse was right here when I started interacting with the skill, but then I moved down really quick so that I can start moving backwards, and it ends up placing the mine behind me. So that's something to definitely look out for. You gotta kind of, when sometimes like the animation of the skill won't complete until like it won't complete right away. It doesn't I guess where the initialization of your mouse isn't always where that skill's gonna be, so you need to be careful with that. That's happened to me quite a bit. So my mind's in a not an ideal place, which forces me to play even further back. But I place my winged spirit out to zone. He walks right into it. Unfortunately, I don't have my pet out to get the finish, so I just throw a horse in case he doesn't dash away. Now we're getting Faru out. We're getting Marin out. I replace my mine to give myself a little bit of a more space. I move up to place plants. And there's the homing blind. Gotta love the homing blind skill. And he's able to circle around me because I throw out horses, which probably forced one of his mobility skills. And here's where another mistake is going to happen. And like I said, mistakes add up. I had mistakes against the Berserker, and now I'm having mistakes against this Hawkeye. I know right now where he's at. He's throwing his range skills. There's, based on how he's been playing, there's only a few things he's going to do right now. He has the open angle. He is going to dash in. He's going to have to use a dash skill to me. So right now, I need to either be queuing a pushback, because you have to queue your pushback early, because if you cast it late, or if you cast it when someone's right on your face, oftentimes their skill is going to hit first, and you are not super armored in it, so you will get locked out of it. So right now, I need to be queuing my pushback, or casting Earthquake on myself, but also in the range that he's going to have to, in the distance that he's going to have to cover. I do neither of those things. I walk back and I cast nothing. He steps into my mind, but he was protected, so he's able to immediately get off his spinny attack. And so right now, I'm just spamming. What am I spamming? I think I'm just spamming spacebar. I'm hoping that I can get. I'm hoping that I can get my knockdown protection. I'm hoping that I will get knocked down, because the way the game works is, and I'm not 100% sure how it works. So there is still a little bit of confusion here, but it's like if you take a certain amount of damage while being locked in a CC, or if you're CC'd for a certain amount of time, the game will automatically knock you down so that you can use your get up skill. And I'm thinking that I'm going to hopefully get knocked down and then be able to use my get up skill, so I'm just spamming my space bar. But in reality, I should have just been spamming my Earthquake on myself. Fortunately, Marin saves the day, comes and whacks him in the face, and I'm able to clinch at least the 1v2. But now, as you see, all those mistakes, the whole series of bad decision making added up. Now I'm going into this fight against another Hawkeye with only 132 HP. All he has to do is pop off a homing shot right here, and I'm dead. And you see the love for the homing arrows. Don't get me wrong, I think they should have, like, I think there's like, it's some good class identity to have some cool skills like that. I think the homing should be a little bit less forgiving, though. You should have to, like, get it within a certain radius of the character. Right now, they can just pop it off and really miss with it quite a bit, and it will still home to the character. It's really forgiving. But anyways, so there you go. That is how bad decision making will keep you from clinching a 1v3, even one that should have pulled off. Even one that I arguably... Anyways, guys, if you like this sort of content and you like more gameplay analysis, you want to see more things about how summoners play in PvP and things you could do, build ideas and stuff, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep pumping this stuff out.